Hi, my name's Ruan and this is my channel, The Yorkshire Sew Girl. I am finally making my makes video, which I know has been long overdue, and I can't even remember which ones I've talked about and which ones I haven't. So if I've duplicated, I apologise. But I've got quite a few, so I think what I'll do is, because I rabbit on a lot, as you all know, I think I'll probably do it in 2 vlogs instead of just one, and then you don't have to sit here for hours just listening to me going on and on and divert into other subjects and things like that. So I made myself a quick cup of tea. We're ready in our 2020 sucked mug. I can't show you yet because I spilled tea down me, but oh my god, so good. Yeah, so I thought that's what I'm going to do because I keep talking about it and it's weighing on my mind. Why have I not talked about these makes and told you what I've done? So these are all up on the grid on Instagram. But yeah, I've got a few more to talk about as well, but I'll do that in another video because yeah, otherwise it'd just be too long. So they're all hung up here, the ones I want to talk about. It's very professional in my sewing room. They're just hung on the back of the door. But what we'll do is we'll start with number 1, and that is my beautiful Tilly and the Buttons Lyra dress in this outrageously bright poppy fabric. I love it. So what I'll do is I will also insert my photos so that you can see it while I've got it on as well, because I'm not one of them people that just gets changed into them all. I know, I'm sorry, and I love it when people do that. When I see other people doing makes videos and they put the garments on, I'm like, oh wow, that's amazing, I must do that. And then I think about the reality of having to do it and I'm like, nah, too lazy. I'm too lazy. I'll just wang some photos up, it'll be right. So yeah, so this is make number 1, which I absolutely love. Now this was made in a viscose from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn that I bought quite some time ago. And if anybody remembers, I also made a Tilly and the Buttons Lyra in a leopard print, obviously, also from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn. And I loved it that much that I've decided I had to make another one. And I'm really struggling not to make another one on top of that because I do wear them all the time. Although this one's probably a bit more fancy, isn't it? I wore this to the NEC in Birmingham when I went to the Sewing for Pleasure show. And yeah, people couldn't miss me. I'll put it that way. There was in fact, what I'll do is I'll wang these over here when I've talked about them. Because I'm going to put some photos in anyway, aren't I? There was a lady, it was really funny, Mum said to me, oh, that chap's just said something about your dress. I said, oh, why, what? And there was a lady, and there was her husband was with her in a wheelchair, in like a motorised wheelchair that looked really cool, like a mobility unit type of thing, and he was wheeling around and he'd said to his wife, oh, look at that lady's dress, it's beautiful. And I thought, you know what? That's all I need in the world, isn't it? This lovely man to be saying how beautiful my dress is. It made me all squiffy inside. But yeah, basically you couldn't miss me. Bright red hair, outrageously bright dress. But you know, I don't like to fade into the background, do I? So that pattern, for anybody who doesn't know, which I'm sure you all do because it's been incredibly popular, is the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra dress. Now, when I look at the picture on here, I'm like, and I wasn't sure about it for a while until I saw this one and I completely fell in love with it. So this is the short sleeved, short version, and this fabric made me go, I have to have it. So I actually bought the pattern and that fabric and made an exact replica. Again, I'll try and put a photo in if I remember, or I'll be pointing to thin air. But I actually made that one first in the summer of last year, and then I wanted something that was a little bit more that I could dress up or down and would be better for like the autumn time type thing, and that's when I made my leopard print one in a more flowy fabric, because this was like a cotton lawn type fabric. Anyway, I haven't had chance to wear that much, but I'm hoping this summer I will get the opportunity. I was never sure about midi dresses on me, but then the more I started wearing, the more I loved them. I don't know whether it's just because I'm getting a bit older and I just don't want all my pins to be out, my little white legs. I don't know. But yeah, so I made obviously the short sleeve version originally, but then I've made the long sleeved long version. Now, let me talk through sizes. So this goes in Tilly's sizes 1 to 10, which is a bust of 30 inches to 48, a waist of 24 inches to 42, and a hip of 33 to 51. Now, I made the size 5, but actually my size range is more in a size 6, but there is quite a bit of ease in it, and I don't like too much ease. I do in certain things where it's appropriate, but I don't like big bagginess, and I don't know whether that's what put me off here, because to me that seems a bit oversized. It's obviously cinched in, but there's a lot of fabric. And again, I don't know whether it's just because it's plain fabric or whatever, but I absolutely love my 2 versions, and I definitely will be making another. I just absolutely love it. So yeah, so I've made the short sleeve version, and then I've made 2 with the long sleeve. Now, when I came to cut my fabric out for this, I didn't actually have enough for the bottom tier. I don't know how that happened. I don't know whether it shrunk when I've washed it, or whether it was cut short when I purchased it, or what. I don't really know. So I did it with just 1 tier to kind of see what it looked like, and I tried it on, and I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? Because I don't really like it. With just the 1 tier on and long sleeves, it looked a bit weird. And then I thought, well, I could put just a plain black viscose on the bottom. And I thought, well, that's going to look a bit weird, having poppies all over it and then suddenly black just on the bottom. So I put a shout out on Instagram, and a lovely person got in contact and said they're selling some at Fabric Godmother. So I went on and I bought 1/2 metre. I've got a funny feeling I've already talked about this dress in a previous video, and I'm very sorry if I have, but my memory is shocking. I need to get a pad. I need to write down all my makes, what adjustments I made to them, what sizes, all that lot. And then when I've talked about them, then cross them through, don't I? I'll start doing that, honest. But yeah, so I chose a size 5 for this one. The only adjustments I make to it is I lengthen the bodice by 2 inches, because obviously I'm 5'9", and also 2 inches on the sleeves, which makes them a bit more billowy, which I absolutely loves. So yeah, so that's my Lyra dress. That's make number 1 that I've made recently that I absolutely love. But yeah, it's a bit fancy, I think, to maybe wear every day. But if you go into something and you want to be a little bit more dressed up, like a really nice meal, or like when I went to the exhibition, I think it's a lovely item to wear. And I just wore it with my big, thick, pretend Doc Martin shoes, you know, a cheapies from Primark. Oh, so yeah, really happy with that. Okay, make number 2 is this bad boy. I'm just in love with all of my makes at the moment. I'm going to hit a wall at some point. I have absolutely no idea. But anyway, so this is my page hoodie. It's a bit creased because it's been hung up on there behind loads of stuff. This is my page hoodie by Chalk and Notch. That is just delightful. Again, I will put some pictures on in a minute when I've stopped flouncing about with it all. This is what I made on Rachel from Stitched Up's Sew Along, and I actually made it in the sew along, which is unbelievable for me because I'm not a very fast sewer, and obviously anybody who knows Rachel knows she's an absolute whiz. She's so fast, it's incredible. So yeah, I made this, which is a plain fabric. I know, isn't like me at all, is it? But obviously I had to like vamp it up a little bit, you know. So I did, so this was a remnant piece that I had. So because I didn't know what it was going to be like, I thought, you know what, I'll use a remnant piece that I've got in my stash. See what it's like. If I like it, I can always make another. But then I ended up loving this. I don't even know where I got this fabric from, but it's like a rib. I don't know if you can see it. Look, it's like a white ribbed fabric. I think it's got some sort of polyester content because it's just got a lovely stretch to it anyway, and I absolutely love it. I don't know the feel of it. I don't know if I'd want it really close to my skin, so that's perfect as like a hoodie. Yeah, but I wanted to jazz it up a little bit, so I used a remnant piece that I had, which I'd got from First for Fabrics, excuse me, in when I won the bundle prize. So I've been trying to use up quite a lot of that. So it's got the pink, white and red stripes, and it's got like a slight silver glitter in the stripes as well. Beautiful. So I used that for the cuffs just to give it a bit of oomph, and the hood lining. I used some red cord that I got from Fabric Godmother when I ordered the piece of fabric for my Lyra dress. And then I got a couple of patches in my Beyond the Pink Door advent calendar at Christmas time, and I thought, you know what, how perfect would that be? And I absolutely loves it. So again, I'll pop some pictures in while I talk through sizes, etc. So this is the page hoodie. here. So as you can see, it's very cropped. Can you see it's meant to be like that? But there are different versions. You can do a version that doesn't have the drawstring in the bottom, and you can do a short sleeve version, etc. So there's quite a few different variations of this, which I think would be really nice. So the sizing, oh, I've only got the finished garment measurements on here. Now, I don't know about you people, but I tend to use the finished garment. So what I do when I'm first sizing up for a pattern is I look at my actual body measurements, and then I look down to what the finished garment measurements are to work out how much ease is in it. And that's when I work out whether I want to go down a size or go up a size, etc. Oh, here's the different versions that you can get on the page hoodie, look. So it's like the cropped version with short sleeves and a hood, or with the tie at the bottom. And then you've got one with poofy sleeves, technical term. They call it a full sleeve, but I call it poofy sleeve. And then you've got the straight sleeved ones. And I made the poofy sleeves for both of mine. Yeah, but these are the ones with hembands, and they're the ones with the drawstring. And I wanted the ones with the drawstring. But it doesn't, this is another pattern, just like the Lyra, where I kind of want to do everything. I want to make them all. And you don't need too much fabric with it either, which is quite nice. So let's do this. Sizes in inches. They go from a size 0 to 30. So a full bust of 32 inches to 58. And they do 2 cup sizes as well. They do an AB cup and a CD cup. A waist of 25 inches to 49 and a hips of 35 to 59. But like I said, there is a lot of ease in this pattern. So I probably should have come out at a 16. Is that what I should have come out at? Yeah, 16. Roughly. Kind of in between. So I sized down to a 14 and I'm very happy with the fit of it. I'm just tidying up as I'm talking to you. And being a good girl and putting everything away so that I don't have to do it all afterwards. I'm like, oh, what have I done? Yeah, so I made a size 14. So the only thing that I think people probably find tricky is the grommets. So these here. On my white version, I'll get it again, I made very small grommets. Can you see how tiny they are? They're the smallest grommets in the world. And it took me quite a bit to get my drawstring through, but I managed it in the end. But then I loved it that much that I had to make another one, which is the one I'm wearing today. I'll get up and quickly show you it, but I will give you a picture of it. So again, it's the tied version. I've just got it on with my Hudson pants at the moment, but it actually ties in quite nicely because I chose a navy blue to accent the fabric. So I made this one, and this was also an offcut, and I can't remember where I got it from. I think it was from myfabrics.co.uk like a long time ago, but I might be completely wrong. I'm not sure. But obviously I'm a complete sucker for animal print, and wow, is this animal print. Love it. But I did want an accent colour on it, and I just think navy blue goes so well with it. So it's got navy. It's a slightly different navy. Can you see it's quite a bit lighter, that one, but I was just using things that I had. This was some fabric that I'd got from Fabworks ages ago to make some t-shirts, which I still haven't done, for all of us to go with some pyjamas. And then I also lined the hood in it as well. And I love how that accent works. So can you see how poofy the sleeves are as well? I love that it does. So I did exactly the same with this one. So what I did though is I did a size 14, which is a size down. I extended the body by 3 inches because I'm 5'9" and I didn't want my tummy showing. One needs to see that. And I also extended the sleeves by 2 inches. I find it perfect. 2 inches is just perfect for me. I've got quite long arms. I've got kind of monkey arms. So yeah, I absolutely love it, and I'm really trying to refrain from making loads more because we're getting into the summer, but then I keep thinking, well, I could make the short sleeve version. You know what I'm saying? I think that cropped length with like a pair of denim shorts would look really good in the summer. You know what I'm saying, don't you? Copper tea is good. So yeah, so I've made 2 of these. The only thing, so anyway, let's get on to grommet shaming. We'll just call it grommet shaming. So on my page hoodie, when I first made it, I made it with the smallest grommets ever. And I used a plier set of grommets, which were brilliant. No issue with them whatsoever. And then I got shamed by how small my grommets were. So I bought a kit that was bigger grommets, as you can see here. But These are the ones that you do with a hammer, and it took a while. I did a bit of practicing and I thought I'd nailed it, and then I did it on this, on the hood, and yeah, it started getting a bit threadbare on the inside. So what I've done is I've just popped a Little Rosy Cheeks label on. One that says, you can't read it that way around, but I can when I look at it. It says, love your self-revolution. And don't the colours go really well with it as well? So I just popped that on there. Now, to the naked eye, when I'm wearing it, you can't see it. But I kind of know it's there and I quite like it. And it doesn't bother me. I thought it might itch, but because it stands out from my neck, it's absolutely fine. And that'll hopefully protect it from fraying in the wash. And it has been washed a few times without any issues whatsoever. So if in doubt, if you bodge it, just stick a label over the top of it. So I've made 2 of those. So yeah, so we're getting into patterns where I'm actually making more than one of things, which is quite good. I quite like that. I have a tendency to make one pattern and move on. And I do think sometimes that could be quite costly for a start off. But if you find something that you really, really like, you can make it look so different. I mean, you wouldn't look at this hoodie and think it looked identical to the white one that I've just made. Or my Lyra dress. Because I've made 3 of them, they're all so completely different. I don't think you would even maybe look at it and go, oh, that's the same dress, for someone that wasn't in the sewing community, if you know what I'm saying. So my next one, loving this wheeling on my chair, is the Friday Pattern Company Patina Blouse. I love this as well. So I made this one ready for when I was going to visit Tamlin and Rachel in Leeds, and we all made a patina blouse, which was really good. Now, we had a Zoom call when we were making this up, and we were talking about the necklines, because there's a low neckline and a higher neckline. There's only about an inch difference, and we all said we were going to go for, or did I say I was going to go for the higher one, I think? I don't know if the girls did. So I cut out the higher one, but then I cut out the longer collar, which was ridiculous, Ruan. So I had to ease it in, but I managed it, and it actually has been no problem whatsoever, which is unusual. But yeah, it went in absolutely neat as a bobbin. But I love this. So I made the long sleeve version, but I did a separate fabric for my collar because I wanted it to stand out on this fabric. So this fabric was from my So Hayley Jane subscription box. I've got a lot of this fabric because I love it so much, and I was desperate to actually make something out of it. So I made the long sleeve version, which is finished off just with, it's got like a little placket here, can't really see it very well, and a button. I finished it off with a lovely Little Rosy Cheeks label, again, perfectly me, because it really is, because it's leopard print and it's light and bright and loud. And I also made, I'll show you, some fabric covered buttons as well, because I couldn't find any buttons that were right. So I thought, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm going to actually cover my own buttons? And again, I'd got some in my So Hayley Jane box a while ago that was in my stash. So I just used those and covered them over with a little tool that I've got. Let me show you it if I've got it, which makes it really easy. It's this one here. It's awesome. So you cut the fabric, pop it in whichever size, pop your button inside it, push the fabric over, and then you squash the top lid on it, and then you pop it out. I mean, that sounds really easy, doesn't it? But I did end up having to do a little bit of the old-fashioned. I found there were need to, if I did run a very small amount of thread around the top and pull it together before I popped it in. But I think it's just a matter of practice. So that's quite a good little tool. I'll quickly show you if you haven't seen one before. So that's it there. So they're all the different, it's got all the different sizes here. You pop your fabric, cut your circle out, which there's a template for on the back. Pop it in there, pop your button in there, and then you, or is it the other way around? Oh, I can't remember now. And then you pop one on top of the other anyway, and you squeeze them together like this, really hard. And then when you pull it out, they'll just come out. But no one's going to look at your buttons and be like, oh, they're not 100% accurate anyway, are they? But it did take a bit of practice, but it took a bit of time. But I think the more you do it, the better it'll be. So, patina blouse, let's talk sizing, shall we? Here's my packet here, ready and waiting. So the sizing on this is from an XS to a 7X. The chest measurements are 32 inches to 60, a waist of 24 to 53, and hips of 34 to 63. So it's brilliant from a size inclusivity point of view. Now I should have come out as an XL on the chest, an XXL on the waist, and an XL on the hips, but I actually sized down. So I did a large for the bust, a large for the waist, and an XL for my hips. And on the hips, for example, it still gave me 5 inches. So all was good in the hood. So I did actually size down slightly on this one. I did also extend the length of the bodice and the sleeves by 2 inches each, just to make sure that I'd got plenty of length, and that seems perfect to me. There is quite a lot of poofiness then in the sleeve of the long sleeve version, which I really, really like. So yeah, really, really happy with that. And then I loved it that much, then I made another one, which I haven't actually worn out yet, but I will be doing. So this was my second one. So when I went shopping with Tamlin and Rachel into Leeds, we went to B&M Fabrics, and they'd never been in there before. Or had Rachel been in? I don't think she had. And I saw this fabric and it was dirt cheap. And it's a crepe fabric in this outrageously almost neon yellow with like blush coloured splodges all over. It's just a little bit almost animal print like, isn't it? So I decided to make this for Jess's from So What If I Sews challenge. For So Yellow for Endo, and it was a lovely make because I'd made it before. It was really simple. All I did this time was change it to the short sleeve because I thought it's so lovely and bright, it'd be really nice for springtime to be able to wear out. So I did correct my collar pieces and they went in again, no problem whatsoever. And then I finished it off with these silver buttons. I really struggled with what buttons to put on this make. It was really strange. I tried so many different buttons up against this blouse and it just didn't look right. So if in doubt, go for metallic. That's what I always say. And I had these gorgeous dull matte silver buttons from one of my So Hayley Jane boxes. So they've come in really handy. Just shows when you've got a bit of a stash of things that actually they do come in at some point. So yeah, I made the short sleeve version with the higher neckline and I absolutely love it. I finished it off with a Kylie and the Machines tag that I'd got in my advent calendar. So yeah, that's make number 5. But I've only shown you 3 patterns so far, I think. I don't know. Why am I even counting? Who cares? Who cares, Ruan? And then the last one I'm going to talk about, because there are more. I'm faffing with my hair again. I noticed the other day when I was editing that I either faff with my hair or I'm scratching my nose or my neck or something. Like, you guys need to see that, but I don't even know I'm doing it. Oh, there's someone at the door. I'll come back 2 minutes. I'm back. I'm back. It was the delivery man, the postman. And it was very important because I had my Fabuloso patterns that I've had printed out. I can't even remember what's in there because I've made 2 orders recently. So I'll double check that when I open it up. And also, oosh, I'm doing that thing where I'm going to start showing my address again, aren't I? Not that it matters, because if you want to send me fabrics and stuff, I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? This is my Rainbow Fabrics latest haul. Because I said I wasn't going to be buying any more fabrics, and then they put this drop up, and I was like, go have it. Because I think with Rainbow Fabrics, their fabric is such a decent price that if you're trying a pattern out and you want to use a wearable toile, if you want to do a wearable toile, it's really handy. And also, if you think about it, so 3 meters gets you one of those Lyra dresses. Well, if you're buying fabrics at about £5-6 a metre, it's really decent that you can get a dress for £15-16 type of thing. So I'll be having a look at that in a bit. Excited. My washing machine's going to be on today. Where was I? Where did I get to? Can't even remember. I'll just have a slurp of my tea and try and collect myself. This bad boy, isn't it? Now, this has taken some time to get round to. You all know that. Because I said I was going to do this for So Recreate the Look last year. And I didn't. And I managed to do it for this year. So, this is the last make I'll talk about today. This is, dun dun dun, my Friday Pattern Company Heather blazer. Get off. Oh my goodness, I just love it so much. It's just so beautiful. This I made with upholstery fabric from Fabworks in Dewsbury, which is nearby to me. And I also used this lining as well from there, which is quite see-through. It's the only thing I kind of regret. I don't normally do plain, do I? I normally would want to do an outrageous lining, but because the outside of it was quite outrageous, I didn't want to go too over the top, if you know what I mean. So the only thing is you can actually see through the lining on the cuffs. So I pinked some of the seams because the overlock was making it too bulky, and you can actually see through some of it and see the pinking, but I think it would only be me that kind of saw that. So I'll put that back up here and we'll talk about it. So the Heather blazer is this one here. So it's a really casual blazer that I thought would be good for starting off my blazer journey, because it's quite got a lot of ease in it, and it does say, I'm just delving into my things, I haven't got my actual sizes again on here. It does say that it's a really good way of approaching it as a beginner sewist as well. So I thought, you know what, I'll give that a go first. So there is only one version of this, which is absolutely fine. Let's have a look. So size chart on this is XS to 7X, so the same as the Patina Blouse. So yeah, bust of 32 to 60, waist of 24 to 53, and hips of 34 to 63. So really size inclusive. But the finished garment measurements are mahoosive. So there's loads of ease because it's supposed to be a really casual blazer and oversized. Now I didn't want mine to be too oversized. I wanted it to be easy to wear, but not, I didn't want to drown in it, because that fabric is quite stiff. It's not a really relaxed linen type fabric. Now, if you're oversized and it's a soft fabric, I think you can kind of get away with it because it has a type of drape to it, whereas this is quite stiff. So I was like, no, I need to check on the sizing. So I should have been an XL in all of the measurements, except for the waist. I probably should have been an XXL. But when I looked at the finished garment measurements, I could easily do an L. So that's what I did. So I downsized from an XL to an L, and I love the fit of it. It's absolutely perfect. I probably could even sneak down to an M, but I do think it might be restrictive over the back, and that's the last thing that I want. So I chose to do a size L, and I did downsize. Now, I make obviously loads of different types of patterns, don't I? And I've recently realised that the ones I enjoy the most are the most intricate ones, which surprises me. I know people are like, oh, I need a palette cleanser and I want to whip something up in an hour. That's not me. The ones that only take an hour or so, I rush so much that I don't pay a lot of attention to them, and I'm probably not at my most accurate. Whereas something like this, where I can just do a few steps at a time and it's all new to me, I'm enthralled and it really motivates me. I was so excited to make this pattern. So yeah, I think I'm kind of learning about myself as I carry on my sewing journey, if you like, but I absolutely loved everything about making this. I made no alterations on it whatsoever other than sizing down one size. Now the sleeves are shorter. Obviously I've got longer arms than I would always normally lengthen them, but I didn't on this because I wanted to pull them up slightly and turn the lining over so that you could see the lining. So I was totally cool with that. Now I chose obviously a very hard fabric because I wanted to pattern match. And I have to say, it probably took me longer to cut the pattern out than it did to actually sew it up, because I was so particular about my pattern matching. So, for example, down the side, you'll be able to see it's all, obviously there's curves to the pattern, so you can't get the actual gingham to be exact, but you'll be able to see that they all line up. Same with the underarm pieces, for example, of the coat. Don't know if you can see that there. They all line up because I wanted to make sure that was the case, really. Same with the back. It's on a curve, so the gingham, obviously you can't match everything up, but you'll be able to see that it's all kind of matching down the back. And that was really important to me. So even, you know, the back of the collar piece matches, and the back of the collar, because that is done in 2 sections. And even the shoulders. So I made sure that everything matched, because I didn't want it, it was so special to me to make this that I didn't want to do it any other way. The only thing that was slightly unmatched is my pockets. So you probably can't even see those, there are some pockets there, look. If you look really closely, it's not exactly matched up. I mean, you can hardly tell. Now, the reason for that is because I had to pattern match so much with the fabric. I think I had 2 meters. I ended up like having quite a bit of excess fabric here and there that I couldn't fit then the next piece on because it had to be where the gingham finished. Anyway, I'm jibber jabbering. So I ended up cutting the pockets on the cross grain, thinking that the gingham squares were identical lengthways as widthways, but they must be like a millimetre out or something. I'm not quite sure, but because I had to cut those out on the cross grain to fit them on, they actually were they slightly didn't match when I pinned it on. Random, I know. But I finished it off again with the Proud as Punch label because I was really proud of myself. Now, this is a lined garment. I've done a coat before. I've done the Oslo coat by To Suit Your Patterns, which I found brilliant. And this is no different. I would say if you're nervous about starting something like this, don't be. Just literally go for it. You could buy some cheap upholstery fabric just to try it if you wanted, if you weren't 100% sure about it, and a really cheap lining. I mean, you get lining for next to nothing, can't you? But I absolutely love it. Now, I have got fabric that I've already bought for it ages ago from Fabworks, which is like a furry leopard print fabric with a bright cerise pink lining, which I will make that into, but not until probably as it's getting into winter time again this year, I think, because I don't think I'd wear that out much in the summer. But I have bought like a cotton linen type fabric when I went to First for Fabrics to make another one. But I thought I only needed 1.5 meters of the main fabric, and I've just seen that I need 2 meters. So I might be ringing Tamlin and saying, please make sure there is some of that stock left, because if not, I'm not going to be able to make my heather blazer. So I quite fancied a plain blazer, because obviously with this, you can only wear certain things underneath it that are plain. So I have bought like a minty green, like a cotton linen fabric to make another one with grey leopard print insides. Oh, I love it. So that will be on my list. So I will have more than one of those made as well soon. So these are all becoming a bit of a favourite of mine. So yeah, I have got quite a bit of fabric to show you as well. Obviously there's the rainbow fabrics that's just turned up. There's also some of my fabrics from when I went to meet up with Tamlin and Rachel in Newcastle, which I'll tell you about in another vlog. So I will get round to showing you hopefully a bit of a fabric haul soon. But yes, and then I will hopefully come back and give you part 2 of what I've been making recently, because I'm already jibber-jabbering on for so long now that I dread to think how long this video is going to be. Far too long. So hopefully I'll see you again soon. I hope you're all well, and I'll catch you on my next vlog. Take care. Bye.